and happy Monday. As always, it's Michelle's Magical Monday, and I'm so excited to be here this week. It is really something very special to me and near and dear to my heart these Mondays. And I just wanted to thank you because this Soul Circle Facebook group reached 1,000 people, 1K in the Facebook group. So if you're new to this group, thank you for being one of the new people. And if you've been here for a really long time, thank you for being here with us and me. I really appreciate you. This group really, the Facebook group itself really got started from the need to stay connected during COVID. And it has just grown into such a beautiful place to be and to share. And I want to say I really appreciate you. I want to also thank some people today. I want to thank Wendy for 10 years ago saying we should get together every week and practice our woo. And because at that time, not a lot of people were talking about everything we did. And so I wanted to really thank her because in a way, Soul Circle started in my living room. And it started in 2012. And a group of people started meeting up in my living room. Sometimes it was 3 and 4 people. Sometimes it might be as many as 5. And the reason I'm saying that is if you're just kind of getting started, and I know some of you are just building your world, just remember it starts with just sharing your information with one person. In this case, it was Wendy and Tammy and this lovely group of people that started growing. And it grew to the point where I couldn't have it in my house anymore. It was just too big. So we started getting a room at different places. We used Avalon's classroom. So thank you, Avalon. I really want to thank you, Avalon, for being the first spiritual home that I ever had and really bringing so many teachings to me and so much support. And then we moved into another beautiful place called Cole, which was the Center for Abundant Living. And at that point, we were doing Tuesday nights in person. And we started moving it and calling it Soul Circle. And so for nearly 4 or 5 years, I think it was 3 years at Cole, we met every Tuesday night. And so for just a little blip of time, we weren't gathering. And so when COVID hit, we started the Soul Circle Facebook group and I started committing to Monday Night Lives. And so I just, again, I want to thank anybody who's ever been to a Soul Circle, a Theta Babes gathering, an in-person class, a Theta healing. At one point, they used to only be in person, and now they're almost entirely online, which has been beautiful because we can share and grow anywhere in the world. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I have a big anniversary of my own coming up in September 21st. I have a 10-year anniversary of being a Theta Healing Master and Certificate of Science instructor. And so all of the month of September, I am doing Give Back. My 10 years of service, and really it's 20 years as a spiritual practitioner of some sort, starting with my studies 22 years ago this year. So that's kind of insanely crazy to me that it's been 22 years that I've been taking classes and learning things, and it's been about 15 years since I started teaching, and I think it was like 16 years ago I started giving sessions. So this year, the month of September, is my Give Back month, and so I have a absolute huge gift that I want to give, which is we're going to do a 3-day reboot here in Soul Circle next week. We're going to start on Labor Day with Magical Monday. I know some of you might be out and about, so you'll have a couple days to catch up. So we're going to do Monday night at 6 and Wednesday and Thursday night at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll do a live thank you for all of your love and all of your gifts. What I've been inspired to do is sort of a reboot, and a lot of us, it's just time to get back to the basics. It's back to school for a lot of people. It's back to in-person things for a lot of people. And so we are, oh, and the cat is helping. This is Joy. She just opened the door behind me and came to visit. Some of you love our Joy, so I will bring her up on camera. This is Joy. She is our handful of a helper. She only wanted in the room. She didn't want to be on the camera, apparently. So we're going to do this wonderful reboot next week. And so it'll be basic energy practices, getting you to remember what you already know and starting to get you aligned and making that sacred commitment. We're in Virgo now. It's Virgo season, and we had that new moon in Virgo over the weekend. And I know I've heard a lot of you say you are not sleeping very well and you might be a little bit worn out. It's almost like a little energy hangover right now. And I think that is across the board. I've heard of people having healing crises and all of that. And Virgo season can do just exactly that. It is asking you to look at your health, your process, your organization in the highest and best way. So this really lines up to Virgo season, which is making commitment, getting organized, getting dedicated, and just committing to a practice. Because you don't have to do everything perfectly. In fact, that's why meditation and healing is considered a practice. It isn't called a meditation perfection. It isn't called a healing perfection. It's called a practice. And so it is, wherever you are is not wrong. I think that's one of my messages that came through this morning in my meditation to share with you, is wherever you are in your own world, in your own practice, you are not wrong. You just need to align to the version of you that is your next scalable choice. So essentially, what is next for you, and be in the energy of that. Be in the energy of, who am I and what am I aligning to? What are my core values? What really is important to me and what is really meaningful to me? So for example, freedom is meaningful to me. Travel is meaningful to me. Being of service to the world is meaningful to me. And so becoming the version of me that is already of service to the world is an alignment. So to be in alignment and to be in practice of that, each day I can look at, what am I doing to be in service in the world? If I want to be in an alignment to freedom, for example, what am I doing to be in my core value of freedom? Well, that means releasing guilt. And it means not taking on oaths and obligations that I don't want to do, or that is out of alignment to my other core value of service. Sometimes I might do something, but it's of service that I maybe don't want to do, but it still stays in alignment to service. So alignment to freedom or alignment to service. And then last, my core value is energetically being able to travel and be able to have space. So that means space in my home. So if I'm looking in alignment of creating space, that means this month I'm doing a lot of decluttering and rearranging. When you're looking at space, it might be space to have some time to rest, or space to have some time to be creative. So when I'm in the alignment of creating space, I'm booking space in my calendar for creative endeavors. So one thing that just really gets me into alignment personally is calendaring the things that I really value. Put a vacation on the books, put a weekend of rest on the books, put a weekend of painting a wall if that wall is going to make you feel better. Place it into your calendar, even if it's months from now. One thing I learned about making priorities and even making people a priority is I have a friend, and we learned this about 6 years ago. We were like, we never see each other. We really don't necessarily even like the people we're spending more time with, but they're the squeaky wheel that gets committed to, right? They're the ones that say, let's do this, and you say yes to. So instead, we said yes to each other, took out 2 busy calendars, and it seemed like a really long time to book that date that we made. It was like 2 months away, and we put it on the calendar anyway. It felt like 2 minutes, and we had a really amazing time, but I guarantee I would not have had that space in my calendar for this person if I hadn't just booked ahead. And so now we kind of make schedule accordingly. Even if it's 2 months ahead or 3 months ahead, and we actually have something on the books for December to just make sure that we are committing to our friendship. So put it in your calendar, even if it seems a long time away, because you can also be in the energy of flow. We calendar, and then when we check in, we can always find, I'm not really feeling like exactly that. But one of the times we had this big, long, elaborate plan for what we were going to do, and we ended up just grabbing a chair in her garden and spending the day just chit-chatting in her garden. And that was just as lovely and just as beautiful as if we had gone into this elaborate plan that we had originally made. So you can get things and be in the calendar, but also be in the flow. So allow yourself to have those friends, those work partners, or people that you're collaborating with that you can just tell them where you're at and be really, really fluid and really, really honest. I really think that honesty becomes so important here. It is the season for it. One of the big themes that is coming up right now is being able to be truly authentic, which is asking for your true self to be allowed to show up with the people you're around. And that may seem scary. It may seem like there's a trauma loop where if in some past part of you, you have been rejected for being exactly who you are, or wanting to be who you desire to be. Maybe you were rejected by your mother or your father and there was wounds. Or maybe you were told that you were too much or too little in school. You weren't enough, or you're too much. You need to sit down, shut up. Those things make meaning in our minds. And it's a really beautiful time to rewire those back into, I am enough, I am good enough, and I am also able to expand and be big enough. So you can be enough and also not have to be more. So the balance here, and we're going to have Libra season. So it's going to be easy enough to have a beautiful season of Libra. And when we're in Libra, balance isn't about being perfectly like this. It is about, oh, I've given too much to this. Now maybe I can give some energy to that. So balance in the way we're looking at it here is to give yourself everything you need. So I'm going to say that again because it has been a theme for the last 48 hours in my life. Give yourself what you need. And that is not selfish. Okay, let me reiterate that. Giving yourself what you need is self-care and self-actualization. It isn't selfish. One of the most beautiful things I remembered this week is about being a self-actualized human. When you're talking about being self-actualized, you're not saying you're perfect. You're saying you're living a life you are not trying to run away from. You're living a life that you are proud of, and you're living a life with goals. They talk about the spirals of life, and there's in this one model, they talk about 4 different kinds of people. The people who are just unhappy and in the downward spiral. The second kind of people are happy enough. They're like living their day. Maybe they're living in a van and they're living their best life as they think it, but they're one step away from being able to fall into the downward spiral. They're just at the level of, I'm okay, and maybe I'm living my best life as I can, but I have no plan, I have no goals, I don't necessarily have a future in mind. I'm just here in the now. And being here in the now is great. I want that for every one of you. I want you to be here in the now and in the generous present future. And so the other kind of people are the other way around. They're only working for the future. I will celebrate this when I get that. I'll have this when I get that. I won't be happy with this promotion. I need the next promotion. I'll be happy when I have the baby, the house, the car, the husband, the whatever. And they're living, maybe they're actually very successful, but they're living too far in the desire category and not really celebrating. And keto life sometimes is celebrating their successes. So the 4th kind of person is what we want to be, which is a self-actualized person, which is recognizing that the past is all a bunch of lessons. It is all us right now. And you wouldn't even do something you did in the past the same way now as you would have, because you're never the same person twice. You have all the life experience of every day before today in your pocket. And let me tell you something, this beautiful human that is you, let me tell you something about that. You have survived every single trauma, every single drama, every single stressor, every single problem you have ever been faced with to now. And here you are. So that self-actualized person recognizes the past is a grouping of understanding and lessons. And the deepest person is also going to recognize that they're going to use those lessons toward goals and hopes for the future, creating a plan and a goal or an inspiration, being very inspired toward our future, but living right here in the generous present as a celebration, as a living transcended moment. And so that is self-actualization, is to be super mindful and present and alive, no matter what is going on, no matter what is happening in the world. Some people call it un-F-withable, and that's one of my favorite terms, but it's basically being unshakable in the present, because you know you have everything it takes, because you're not just a survivor, you're a thriver, and you're choosing to be grateful, because the presence of gratitude is the attitude of manifestation. I'm 100% sure. I have been studying manifesting for almost 22 years now, and the attitude of manifestation is that of gratitude. So when you're in the energy, the pure energy of I'm so grateful and thankful for all that I am. I'm so grateful and thankful for all that I already have. I'm so grateful and thankful for every lesson I have learned. And then you move into the I am so grateful for all that I am becoming and all that I am ever to receive as the future comes to fruition. And I'm so grateful and thankful in the present moment that the present is a present. That is the key to current joy, current peace, current blissfulness, is to be, no matter what is going on around you. There's a thunderstorm literally going on outside my house right now. And there are things going on in my life. And that doesn't make us anything less than joyful and grateful for how far we've come and how far we're going. So again, since there's a lot more of you on here than there were when I first said it, I wanted to thank you. We have a big celebration. It is 1,000 members in Soul Circle as of this week. So thank you all, the new ones, for joining. Thank you all for sharing this with your friends. I wanted to be clear on this video. I don't want Soul Circle to be just Michelle posting. So if you have aha moments, please post. If there's something that you really want to share that's of the spiritual like-mindedness, please post. If you have a prayer request that's going to help you have peace and you want some people to send unconditional love to your wants and needs, please post. We want to keep it upbeat, not spiritual bypassing, but we are not, it isn't a place, I won't accept people holding negative space, or we're not looking for politics, and we're not looking for big discussions on debates, but we're here to this whole point of Soul Circle is to uplift and hold the awesomeness in each and every one of you. I consider each of you awesome. To me, there is an understanding that you are divine, and so is everyone else. I am divine. The Goddess essence lives within me. And more importantly, I want you to know that the Goddess essence lives within you. So please remember that you are a divine being, and so is everyone else. And that's how we want this Soul Circle to continue to grow and to support. And of course, we've made it accessible for replay on YouTube. So if you ever are like, if you're not on Facebook and you just want to watch it on YouTube, we now have that on Michelle Orwick Facebook channel. We put out a newsletter to remind you of it every week. Thank you, Marissa. I mean, we literally couldn't have this group and all that we do without Marissa. She has literally built this this company to be more than I could ever be by myself. So a humongous thank you to Marissa and to anyone who's ever assisted. We've had a team of assistants and creators and a team of amazing healers. I want to thank Mecca for coming on when I'm traveling and helping us. We've got planned for her to be on approximately once a month over the next few months to hear her perspective on things. So I just want to really live in that gratitude of thank you. This is for you, and I am just in so much joy to be of service. And so that means that we're doing some free and fun things. Next week's Magical Monday will be the beginning of a free boot camp where we'll have 3 different days next week. Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week, we will do a spiritual reboot camp, which will be fun, free videos that you can watch to get yourself in the go. And also I'm doing another free video this week. It's Thursday. I believe it is the 1st of the month. It is Thursday the 1st, yes. And it is at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to talk about my trip to Egypt, both the one I just had, and tell stories about some of the spiritual things that happened, my transformation that happened on my trip to Egypt. And I'm also going to be sharing with you details for anybody who is interested in going with me to Egypt as we take another spiritual journey over the winter solstice. So again, this month is all about give back, and I just wanted to thank you. So let's just take a couple of deep sends. Take the energy into your heart right now, and then let's send unconditional love into every single person, every single 1,000 members of the Soul Circle Facebook group, and to anyone that has ever come to anything that I have ever offered. I just want to send unconditional love into the field, and I want you to take a moment and receive that into your heart. And then let's send it out even deeper. Let's send out unconditional love into the planet as we are strong enough to make a change, that we're no longer 100 monkeys, we're 1,000 monkeys. And if each one of you just changes the world by just changing your own vibration, we change the world. So sending out love, and then receive the love of every single human that is ready. Feel it, let it tingle through your body. Imagine releasing anything you're holding on to as you're going through your upgrades. Imagine being generously present in your own joy and your own happiness, in your own hope. And let's activate your spiritual DNA in this moment, activating you through time, through space, dimension, and reality, remembering that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, and that you are divine and your soul is whole. See your soul as unique and complete and whole, and that all the things that you have had up to now, let's remove the trauma loop, any experience of shock and trauma, and refill you with unconditional love and the knowledge that everything you've ever gone through is making up this beautiful divine human that is making up the next layer of your generous present future. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Above you, below you, to the right of you, to the left of you, in front of you, behind you, and within. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you for showing up for yourself. Remember, this is a great week for a sacred commitment. You're still just off the new moon energy, so it's a great week to get started on any kind of project. The new moon in Virgo and this first couple weeks of Virgo are just really great for making a commitment, whether that's food, exercise, drinking more water, whether that's getting an organizational project underway, whether that's creating something new. It's good for writers, musicians, artists of all kinds, and even just plain old business. Getting back to business, it's great for teaching and learning, and it's always back to school in the United States. So it's just that time of year to be in that energy of devotion. One of my big words right now is devotion. I really was against the word discipline because there's been a lot of videos about discipline lately, just getting stuff done, and I'm in resistance to that word because discipline for me has a dual meaning. Yes, you're in dedication to something when you're disciplined, but it also has the negative of you're getting disciplined for doing something wrong. So my brain really liked wiring devotion, which is the exact same meaning, which is being devoted to an outcome or a cause. So being more devoted than you've ever been before to living a magical life, to living the life you desire to lead. And the difference between a regular life and a magical life is intention. The difference between a plain old cup of tea is in a magical cup of tea is intention. I can make a cup of tea and I can drink it, or I could sacredly bless the water, and I could take the herbs and I could thank them, and I can infuse the tea, and then I can stir the tea with intention, and then I can take it into my body with intention, and that becomes a magical cup of tea. And I take it into my body with magic and devotion. And that's the difference of living a magical life, is doing your life with intention, doing your life not just willy-nilly, but every moment being present in the present, and every day and every way being in gratitude for what you have, and more importantly, gratitude for what you're becoming. And so with my total gratitude for you, I love you, and I will see you again next Monday for the beginning of our reboot camp. And maybe I'll see some of you Thursday in our Egyptian, I talk about my Egyptian trips. And I love you, and have a magical week.